If your heart always did what a normal heart should do, if you always played a part instead of being who you really are, then you just might miss the one who's standing there. So instead of passing by, show them that you care. Instead of asking why me, or why you, why not we too? 'Cause love don't need a reason. Love don't always rhyme. And if love is all we have for now, we've got to make the time. If we always believed all the madness that we're taught, never questioning the rules and living lies we bought so long ago, how are they to know it's not who's wrong or right? It's just another way. And I don't want to fight, but no, I'm going to stay with you till the end, with you, my friends, 'cause love don't need a reason. Love don't always rhyme. And if love is all we have for now, we've got to make the time. I'll hold you close, time can't tear us apart. Forever I will stay by you. Oh, we've got to start with the beat of our hearts. Together we can see this through, 'cause love don't need a reason. Love is never a crime. And if love is all we have for now, we've got to make the time.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Wilson. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this service at the First Universalist Church of Rochester. If you are here for the first time this morning, we especially welcome you. Thank you for making it to our worshiping community and braving the weather today. Please remain after for a coffee hour in the Claire Barton Lounge behind us or online in the same Zoom link. There is a visitor's form that you can fill out on the back of your order of service or by clicking the link in the chat. We ask you to fill this out so we can offer you a welcome beyond what we can this morning, and so you can stay up to date as to what's going on here at the church. If you have a big joy or sorrow in your heart this morning, just as a reminder, we invite you to write it here on the chancel, in the notebook, or in the Zoom chat anytime before the chalice is lit. So now is a good time to do that. A couple of announcements. If you look in your order of service, we have 2 concerts coming up the next 2 Sunday afternoons, including next Sunday, one to benefit rock music, so don't miss that. If you happen to miss our service auction, there are still a few items remaining, and they will be updated online, so you can still have a chance to purchase those later this week. We had a very successful service auction, so very proud of that. Next Sunday is the deadline for the UUA General Assembly delegate nominees. And lastly, Monday, February 16th, President's Day, we are going to have a special event here at the church, K-pop pancakes. So if you're interested in pancakes, or if you have heard of K-pop Demon Hunters, we're going to combine the two and have a fun dinner and a movie event on the 16th starting at 5:30. So don't miss that. Before we take a moment to turn towards our neighbor, let's say hello to our online community. Wave towards the Progress Pride flag in the back where the camera is. Thank you for joining us on this very frigid morning. If you're online, please pop a greeting into the chat and say hello to our robust online community. And if you're here at First Universalist, let's take a moment to turn towards our neighbor this morning and offer a greeting.
Good morning. So as we come back together for our opening hymn, this hymn is rather new to us. So ye who taste that love is sweet. And the words are very appropriate for our season this month. I just wanted to say I'm going to play through the entire first verse once, just so that you can get a sense of it first. So I'll play through the whole first verse. If you are a music reader, it might be a good one to grab your hymnal for, even though we have words on the screen, just so it doesn't catch you off guard. But I'll play through the whole first verse one time. Yeah, exactly. And you stand on your tippy toes when you come back.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Osta, she, her, and I'm delighted to be here with so many brave souls. During the recent cold snap that seems like a warming trend compared to today, last week, our Thursday hot team did our weekly visit to the transit center in downtown Rochester. And it brought us in contact with a young couple traveling the streets together. 3 of us offered gloves, scarves, hats, and whatever else we had. Snacks, water, toiletries. One of us asked our standard question, do you have housing? The thought of the cold as we stood with the warmth of the transit center made me shiver. No, came the answer. Her clear blue eyes and auburn hair both shone as she said, "We're okay." He nodded in agreement, his face framed by a dusting of light brown stubble. "Where did you sleep last night?" I asked, remembering the below zero temperatures. "Were you sheltered at all?" My feet still cold. "We slept in a car," he said. My incredulous look elicited more. "It was okay. It was an abandoned car. It was all right. She slept on my feet to keep them warm. We're okay. We're together." Another colleague offered a shelter option at Francis' house. "Can we stay together? We don't want to be separated." The love they shared radiated from them. "We've been in 5 weeks in recovery. We're going to the methadone clinic. We're doing good." A seasoned agency leader commended them. "In this cold, you're doing that? You are good." As we moved from the transit center to the library, we encountered others who eagerly accepted socks, gloves, and compassion. And in the cafe, our 2 lovebirds were sipping hot water and a cookie, freebies from the Food Link Cafe. For $5, a meal can be purchased. The woman behind the counter came out and said to them, "I'm buying you 2 a meal." His eyes teared up. She pats his hand. With a longer conversation, we learned that he grew up in Penyan on a farm. What befell them in their life journey, hard to say or even guess. The thing that sustained them was love. That's what we all yearn for and learn from. They were teaching it. My feet finally felt warm. The next morning, as Dave and I drove to the doctor's, I saw a familiar sight at one of the intersections where we stopped for our turn. A man bundled against the elements looking for help. Dave opened the window to hand out a snack bar. There were those eyes again, spotting me. "Hi, it's me. I know you from the library yesterday. Glad to see you again." I waved, remembering. The light changed and we went on. Now my eyes filled up. "Come, let us worship together." As Molly Bell comes forward to light the chalice at First Universalist, and you light your chalice in your own homes, please join me in our chalice lighting words spoken in unison. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and serve. And may we reach out to serve our community. Please rise in body or in spirit for our affirmation of faith. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we comfort with each other and with all. I invite you now into the spiritual practice of generosity. The good work of this church is funded by the gifts you give. Part of that good work is the ministry of our membership team. This group works with our congregational life coordinator to reach out to the wider community and welcomes newcomers and helps friends become members who are integrated into the life of the church. Would any members of the membership team raise their hands here or online? We are so grateful for the contributions of this team and for the life of our church and the contributions to our church. Let us give with grateful hearts this morning. Please place your offering in the offering basket or give online by scanning the QR code in the back of your order of service. This is also a great time to remember to place visitors' forms in the offering basket. For folks online, please click the link in the chat to give to First Universalist Church. Thank you for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be taken and gratefully received.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Eileen, she, her, and I'm here to let you know that this morning we welcome 5 new members to our congregation. Yeah, woo! We are so grateful to have you with us. I want to lift up that we are not only a place of transformation which welcomes them in, we are a place that is ready to be transformed by them. So with great joy, I ask our new members who made it here this morning with their willing families to come forward as their names are read. Gregory Albright, Thomas Coakley, Colleen Elberty, Angelina Bell, and Molly Bell. And if you're joining us online, one of these, if you're really Colleen, Colleen, if you're joining us online, give a wave in your video or with your emoji. New members, welcome to First Universalist Church of Rochester. We're so happy to have you. So these new members have offered their time, talent, and resources to the work of this community. They have added their names to the choir of members and ancestors in our membership book. So new members, I ask you now in front of all these gathered members, do you promise of your own free choice to live in covenant with us, to move together with us into our future with hope and vision? If so, please answer, we do. I was hoping you would. And now it's up to the rest of us to complete our part. So I ask you for 3 commitments, members who are gathered here this morning and who are joining us on Zoom, as a way of welcoming and connecting ourselves to these new folks. Do you, as a community of hope, promise to stand and work beside these new members as we all seek to envision and enact a more just world? If so, please respond loudly, we do. We do. And do you, as a community of healing, promise to do your part in making this a place where these new members can bring their joys and their sorrows, their struggles and their celebrations? If so, please respond, we do. We do. And finally, as a community of heart, do you offer these new members the freedom and love to listen to the sacred, experience wonder, and make meaning as their hearts and consciences lead them? If so, please respond with a hearty we do. We do. Having offered you roses this morning and gifts which are coming, welcome to the fullness of membership in our community. It is so good to join together in this journey. May our way be lit by the warm glow of community, the bright light of truth, and the fire of commitment. Amen. And would you give a rousing round of applause to our new members as they make their way back to their seats? I invite you to be seated, and I'm going to hand this microphone right over to Reverend Michelle, because now it's time for a story.
I want to invite up any of our young friends or young at heart friends, and if some are joining us online at home, to invite them to come over to the screen for our story today. So today's story is what's called a Jataka tale, which means it comes from the Buddhist Indian tradition. So Buddhists who live in India, these are one of their stories. And this one is called The Brave Little Parrot, or I'm making sure I got this one right. Yes. Or sometimes called The Brave Little Blue Parrot. At least he starts out that way. And I love this book. It's called Buddha at Bedtime, and it has all sorts of Jataka stories in it. There. So the little blue parrot, his nest was up at the very top of the rainforest, and one day a really angry cloud came along, and this angry cloud was throwing down silver lightning bolts at the forest and making noise and growling. It was taking out all of its anger and feelings on everybody in the forest. And one of those silver lightning bolts hit a dead tree, which was very dry, and it burst into flames. And then that angry cloud, it blew a gale of wind. And the sparks from that first fire spread to the surrounding trees, and before you know it, there was a real fire going on in the rainforest. And the little blue parrot was so scared, didn't know what to do. Eventually, the flames were licking the bottom of his nest, so he couldn't stay there. And he realized that all of his friends there in the forest were in danger. They couldn't fly away easily like he could. They were scared. They didn't know what to do. And he said, friends, to the river. Let's go to the river. And so those who could see him and could get there followed him to the river. But some of them couldn't get there, or they couldn't hear him. He's like, what do I do? So the little blue parrot, the brave little blue parrot, dove bodily into the river, coating his feathers with water and flying towards the fire and shaking off all of his feathers and spraying little droplets of water on the fire. And you'd hear a little tss, 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 hiss of each droplet hitting the fire. And so he kept doing that. He'd go to the fire and dive in, and go to the river and dive in, and then go back to the fire and shake off the droplets to try and put out as much as he could to get to those other friends who needed to get to safety. Well, he didn't realize at the same time that he was being watched. High above even the angry storm cloud was the castle of the happy lands where the gods lived, and they were looking down at the little blue parrot, saying, do you really think that you're going to be able to put out the forest fire with the little drops of water that you can spray from your feathers? Run! Go fly away from here! Save yourself! The little blue parrot, because he actually could hear them in this case, said, how can I abandon my friends who I love? I am going to stay and do as much as I can for as long as I can to try to help them, right? And so he kept going back and forth to the river and to the fire and to the fire and back to the river. And one of the gods transformed their self into an eagle and came down thinking, maybe the bird can't hear, doesn't understand the reality of the situation. The eagle came down to talk to the little blue parrot. Little blue parrot, this is very sweet what you're doing here, but there's no way that you can save your friends or the forest. It's time to let go and fly away. And the little blue parrot said, if this is the last thing, the only thing that I can do, I choose love. I choose my love and loyalty for my friends, for my home, to my last breath. And the eagle / God was so filled with compassion and moved by this choice and the actions of this brave little parrot that the eagle started to cry. Great, big, God-level tears streamed from the eagle's eyes and all over the forest. And of course, great big splashes of tears meant also great big hisses from the forest. And as the little blue parrot kept going back and forth to the river and to the flames, the eagle let their tears of compassion wash over the forest until all of the fire was gone. And yay! Compassion wins! And the angry storm cloud blows off somewhere else, and the sun comes out and dries up the forest. And that God whose compassion tears showered over the forest goes back up to the castle, transforms themselves back into a god, and confers with the other godlike beings that this bird was so special to have such loyalty and love for his friends and his home, that they sent down a rainbow shower of sparkles so that he was no longer just a little blue parrot, but he was a rainbow-colored parrot, like the parrots on Verity's shirt or the parrots that you see everywhere with red and yellow and blue and green, to remind everyone in the forest that love and compassion is so beautiful, the most beautiful thing. I love this reflection. Sometimes we can feel helpless when faced with a great challenge. A wise person knows that love and compassion can give us the courage to achieve things we thought were impossible. Today is the second Sunday of the month, where we act with love and compassion with our bodies intentionally. We don't just talk about it, we don't just think about it, we do it. So if you have brought some food today that you haven't brought up yet and want to raise your hands, and I will send out our helpers to go, if you see someone raising their hands or food items. So the second Sunday of the month is our monthly food in gathering, where we collect food and monies. Oh, there's some more hands over there. Food and money for the community cupboard on Nestor Street. We all know that now, perhaps more than ever before, that these funds and foods are so needed and appreciated. Oh, I see a hand and a hand and a hand. Thank you all so much for your generosity, and for the church members who commit month after month to taking the food and supplies and funds to the Nestor Street Community Cupboard. One of our longtime partners. Awesome. Thank you so much, friends. And then as we go upstairs to reflect more on this in children's worship, let's sing together our doxology. The words are in your order of service or on the screens. Thank you.
I invite us now into the reverent time of sharing the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. If you would like to, you can place a hand over your heart to be able to listen from a more heart-centered place. We know so much is going on in our world today, and if you have sorrows or joys to share on behalf of our national or global community, you are encouraged to do so today and in the future. As Elizabeth places stones into a bowl, I will read aloud the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. We share a concern from Jean, whose heart breaks over the state of our country and others, including Ukraine. We share a joy and an encouragement to take heart. It is almost spring. We share from Jay a sadness that his amazing cat, who was adopted just last month, had come to him with an undetected injury and passed away suddenly on Tuesday. We share in joy with Kitty, who celebrates Charlie's birthday Friday and Lisa's birthday yesterday. And today we also share in a community ritual to honor the many joys and sorrows we bring into this space, whether we've read them aloud or kept them in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. So in a moment, those here in person are invited to come forward and drop stones into the bowl. If you need to remain seated, as always, you can raise your hand and someone will come to you with a bowl to drop stones in. If you are joining us online, please drop a heart emoji into the meeting chat instead of a stone, and let us join in this collective ritual of honoring the joys and sorrows of us all. If you have joys or sorrows on your heart, please come forward now. Now the circle of our care is drawn larger. May it increase forevermore. I invite us now into a time of prayer and centering, followed by some shared silence. Let's start with a breath. I invite you to take a deep breath and let it out with a sigh. As you let some part of you, your feet, your back, your arm, find solid ground and feel held by this good earth, by this good church. Perhaps your eyes fall closed and your shoulders fall away from your ears. And I offer these words by Jan Richardson as our prayer this morning. Let us agree for now that we will not say the breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound when every day our waking opens it anew. Perhaps for now it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating, as if it were made for precisely this. As if it knows the only cure for love is more of it. As if it sees the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still. As if it trusts that its own persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us, nevertheless.
Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. Our hymn of contemplation this month is number 95, There is More Love Somewhere.
Just for today, we don't have the slides for this one, so I encourage you to use your good old-fashioned hymnal for hymn number 95.
My little brother, who is 6'4" and not little at all, has a wry and irreverent sense of humor. And he gifted me a maternity shirt when I was pregnant for the first time. And across the belly, he had special ordered this, by the way. Across the belly, there were 2 words, "Love hurts." As much as I found it hilarious and wore it proudly, I can't help but also find it to be profound. Love does hurt. Family love, romantic love, community love, love with a capital L. That great ocean of love the whole universe rides on. It contains a depth of pain that makes it an all too relatable human longing to wonder if love is really worth it after all. Because, listen, it almost feels debatable these days. Is love really worth it? Doesn't it? Are we naive to preach a gospel of love? Does love, could it possibly, in the face of all we are facing, really work to change the world? We could really look around at the world today and decide faith in love at the center is foolishly naive. We could look at the world and see a growing fascist movement overtake our own country, with an anti-queer, anti-immigrant, racist, ableist, colonizing agenda. We could see a climate crisis that promises catastrophic changes to life as we know it on Earth in most of our lifetimes. Worldwide wealth inequality that widens every year, with just a couple dozen individuals controlling as much wealth as half the world. And a campaign of terror against our immigrant neighbors that has our tax dollars building concentration camps for toddlers, and we could really lean into the cynicism, right? It wouldn't be hard to let the exhaustion of a world with that much trauma just overwhelm us into an apathy for love. I sat with Reverend Sherry over at First Unitarian this week to talk about her time in Minneapolis the week before, where she answered a call to show up alongside clergy from across the country. It was so much more dire than she anticipated, she said, and also so much more hopeful. She talked about organizing strategies in the Twin Cities that have worked, that are working, about the importance of long interfaith relationships among clergy being leveraged to get feet in the streets and meals on doorsteps, about the hope in the long history of the labor movement in Minneapolis and that being leveraged to form a tenants union to fight evictions on behalf of people who are too scared to go outside to work, about the beauty of decades of Midwestern community life showing up in the form of 50,000 people singing in the streets. And in case we still feel cynical, in case we still feel like this moment is too big for love to meet, our own Reverend Dick Gilbert chimed in to talk about counseling conscientious objectors during the Vietnam War, about his advocacy work in getting people access to abortion care in a pre-Roe world. A reminder that even when the moment we are in seems dauntingly hard, we have trusted love to see us through hard things before. We have used an ethic of love to change the world before. The theologian Howard Thurman described marginalization and oppression as a wall across humanity, slicing up its belovedness. He said, whatever it may do for those who dwell on either side of the wall, one thing is certain: it poisons all normal contacts of those persons involved. The first step toward love is a common sharing of a sense of mutual worth and value. This cannot be discovered in a vacuum or in a series of artificial or hypothetical relationships. He believed that real and actual love was necessary to destroy the walls between us. Hate, cynicism, avoidance, they are tempting in the face of all the bad news we face. But they do nothing to a wall except to make it stronger. Love, Thurman claims, not theoretical concepts of love, not a theology of love that's out there somewhere, but the real life, actual love of particular people is what will tear down walls of oppression, is the only thing that will. In the face of all this seemingly escalating injustice, it can feel like a hopeless task to trust in love, right? Because knowing what we know, we're hurting, we're angry, we're terrified. And rather than shut those feelings out or think of them as antithetical to hope, I would like desperately for us to make space for them. For all this vulnerability, all our fears and grief and sorrow are products of love. So please, let's feel them. Cry. Come apart. Detroit poet and Rochester native Kateri Boucher put it this way in poem: I think we are afraid to cry because we worry if we start crying, we might never stop. But the truth is, until we let ourselves cry, we won't truly start anything else. Our job, friends, is not to harden our hearts against the sorrow of the world in order to remain engaged in transforming it. We can only hope to transform it when we let that sorrow affect us, when we live with broken hearts and still somehow trust in love. It is love that breaks our hearts and love that pours out of them and into them in all their brokenness. So what I want to suggest is that learning to live with hearts broken open is what transforms us. And through us, we hope, transforms the world. Because if we're wrong about that, what's the alternative? Hearts hardened against an aching world and no love let in at all? I think we've got to choose love, friends, whether it works or not. In Strength to Love, Martin Luther King Jr. wrote about grappling with the prevailing moral theology of the day when he was a seminarian and a doctoral student and a young preacher. We talked about it a few weeks ago on MLK Day. He wanted to embrace the love ethic of Jesus, that Jesus' followers are compelled to love God by loving their neighbors, to do things like turn the other cheek, to follow the Beatitudes or the Sermon on the Mount, blessing the poor, the meek, the peacemakers. But most popular theologians at the time thought that this ethic might be applicable to individual lives, but that it was impossible to hold societies to such a standard. And Dr. King struggled to imagine a Jesus who would proclaim a law that was unlivable on a broader societal scale. Popular moral theology at the time offered only these options. Popular moral Christian theology at the time offered only these options. One, drop out of the world and set yourself apart. Those of us who've spent time in traditions that claim to be in the world but not of the world know it well. Or two, live a half-assed version of Jesus' actual teachings. Be theological cynics. But how great a teacher could Jesus be, Dr. King wondered, if he demanded a way of living that wasn't actually possible? Jesus was to King and to most Christians a part of the real world and a teacher for the real world, not a fantasy figure. So the ethic of love that King developed in response was a combination of Jesus' teachings on love and the methodology of nonviolence that Hindus had figured out and Gandhi had utilized. It was a radical shift in Christian ethics at the time for him to say that Jesus' teachings were applicable to all of society and that they might work. But here's the thing. Toward the end of Dr. King's life, in some of his interviews and writings, he was questioned on that, on whether this love ethic is practical. Is it pragmatic? Does it work? He was questioned both by people more cynical and more radical than he was. And every time he responded the same way. He let his doubt and sorrow and grief exist right alongside his hope. It might not work, he allowed. This ethic of love might not work to change the world, but it is the right way to live. And he remained committed to it to his death because it was right, even in the light of the very real possibility that it might not be practical. The question is not whether we will be extremists, he said, but what kind of extremists will we be? Will we be extremists for hate or for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice or for the extension of justice? And that's the call we hear today. That even in the face of the real possibility of its failure, we choose love. We choose to be such extremists for love that we live it and trust it, whether we believe it can work or not. My husband Brian and I adopted an old dog when we were first married, Leo. He had been a stray who it was clear no one had ever wanted. A rush of overconfidence that always accompanies new love made us say yes to him. But soon I found myself guiltily sympathizing with everyone who had abandoned him. He came with a slew of health problems resulting in deafness, which made communication very difficult. It made him very anxious when he couldn't see us and then he couldn't hear us. He was fearful and confused, and he barked all night long. I am not exaggerating, all night long. I was very worried about my neighbors making noise complaints. And I felt like giving up. Slowly, though, we know where this is going, right? I watched Brian form a bond with him. They went on long runs together to ease Leo's anxiety. Brian left the room for a few seconds and then came back and then worked up to minutes and then came back until Leo understood that even after hours, his people would come back. Brian used hand signals to communicate with him, and eventually Leo seemed to know what Brian wanted with just a look. And his steadfast dedication to Leo made me soften my heart too. I grew more patient, adjusted my behavior to his needs, and soon Leo's soft head on my lap became one of the best parts of my day. And that's how it is to love, isn't it? The hurt of leave-taking that is embedded in all our loving is part of its power. We need the pain that comes with love for our own sake. We need to be in relationship with others who challenge and provoke us, who push us against the edges of who we think we are. We need a hurting world, not a perfect one, to teach us how to love. It can feel foolish to trust so earnestly in love. Maybe it is foolish. I am not here to convince you it's pragmatic and reasonable, just that it's right. If you recall, in my first sermon that I preached here as your minister just 6 months ago, I encouraged us to embrace the foolishness that a world built by love demands. The work of a faith with love at the center, I said way back then, and I stand by it, requires enough foolishness to set out toward that new world, even when we don't quite know the way. Enough foolishness to get messy building new models, letting them fail, and then reimagining all over again. Enough foolish audacity to trust that our neighbors are worth loving. Sometimes, in spite of our universalism, it feels like the whole world is going to hell. It would be so easy for us to shrug our shoulders, drop out, and give up. It would be easy to turn our anger inward and let it fester into bitterness. But as the people of Minneapolis are singing in the street, no one is getting left behind. We get there together or never at all. So even when my despair convinces me to believe that love is a sinking ship, I am not bailing. If this ship sinks, I'm going down with it. And wherever we're going, we get there together. This world breaks our hearts, I know. But this world needs our hearts in all their brokenness. May they never harden, and may love find its way through every fracture. May it be so, and amen. Would you rise in your body or spirit here or at home and sing together hymn number 18, What Wondrous Love Is This? I invite you to remain standing as Elizabeth extinguishes our chalice flame this morning, and let us read together the words printed on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these worlds to the world we live in until we are together again. And as we close our service this morning, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. If you're joining us online, I invite you to turn your settings to gallery view and look upon the faces of those gathered here with you. For those of us in the room, let us take a moment to look around at all of those with us today. May we be such extremists for love that we choose to live it and trust it and let it break our fragile hearts, even when we don't believe it will work. Amen. It was so good to worship with you today. I would like everyone to feel welcome to join us in coffee hour immediately after the service in the Clara Barton Lounge or online in the same Zoom meeting we're in right now. We hope to see you there.
Hello. I know you think that I shouldn't still love you or tell you that. But if I didn't say it, I still would have felt it. Where's the sense in that? I'm not trying to make your life harder or return to where we were. I will go down with this ship, but I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and always will be. I know I left too much mess and destruction to come back again. I caused nothing but trouble. I understand if you can't talk to me again. And if you live by the rules that it's over, well, I'm sure that that makes sense. I will go down with this ship, but I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and always will be. And when we meet, which I'm sure we will, all that was there will be there still. I'll let it pass and hold my tongue, and you will think that I've moved on. I will go down with this ship, but I won't put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and always will be. I will go down with this ship, but I won't put my hands up and surrender. No, no, there will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and always will be.